What is up, guys? Rai the Wolf, and I'm here with a bit of an educational video. Never liked melee weapons ever since they put them in Modern Warfare Remastered. Just corny and have no place in COD. It's yet another lame crutch one-hit kill weapon in a game that is already plagued by them. Nothing more annoying than playing a game with insanely long TTK just to be put down in one lazy attempt. It doesn't take skill, it has no place in the game, running around high speed with something that instantly kills. Corny. This is what I like to call a DSDF. I'll wait until after a minute to say what it actually stands for, because, I mean, you know, YouTube. It can also be called a DSDF because of the sound your brain makes when you read or hear something they say. These types of players are a plague on the COD community, and they can usually be split up into different variants of DSDFs based on what complaints they have. Today, though, I'm going to be talking about a very specific DSDF and try to sort of cure them of their DSDF-ness by teaching them this variant of a DSDF, who I like to call Complain About Meleeus, have a very hard hate boner for people who like to run a special type of build in COD called Melee Only. Melee Only consists of only using melee weapons, duh, such as knives, swords, commas, tonfas, or even the dreaded riot shield.
What else riot shield? I'm a pussy that use riot shield. What do you want me to use? You tell me you
while using throwing knives as their lethal equipment, and usually hindering tacticals such as stuns or flashes. Now, the main complaint that DSDFs have about melee users is it doesn't take skill. Now, mind you that this was written by somebody sitting in a corner with a shotgun riot shield combo all match, with a purple colored pencil and what I hope is tear stains on the paper, but I digress. But that does bring up a good question. Is Melee Only overpowered? Short answer, no. Long answer, no it's not, you dipshit dumbfuck mongoloid. It only seems OP because you can't hit your shots and you have the spatial awareness of a pickle. But, of course, let's do a bit of a comparison between the advantages and disadvantages of going Melee Only. Let's look at the advantages first. Most melee weapons, the Tonfa and Riot Shield being the only exception, gives the player using it a one-shot swing, which means that if they hit you or stab you with it, it kills you instantly, except in Warzone. Since they're not having to carry a heavy gun and all of the ammo that comes with it, melee-only players get to move pretty fast. Of course, when you pair it with lightweight boots or the lightweight vest, it just makes them even faster, which makes reaching their target a lot easier. Stealth is a melee user's greatest asset, and Dead Silence being a perk is the reason why MW2 is the worst COD to ever exist. Stealth allows a melee user, or really just anybody, to flank around and take out enemies from behind, or even just to take out players who are tunnel visioned on one hallway while they sit and spawn. Now let's look at the disadvantages. Without throwing knives, melee users have no range to attack. And no, the melee lunge is not as strong as the Complain About Meleeus say it is. They think it's like the lunge with the commando perk in one of the older CODs, but in reality it's more like this. The fact that melee users have a very limited range without throwing knives means it's a lot harder to get to a target that's farther away. Which brings me to the next disadvantage. Have you ever tried to go melee only on a map like Derail, Estate, or Wasteland? It's not fun. Hola, Kushi! Honestly, this disadvantage can just be applied to any weapon in COD, but it's a bit different with melee weapons, because melee-only players also need to know good flank routes, movement, know when to attack, and learn how to aim with throwing knives. The the amount of times I've swung directly onto somebody with a melee weapon and the game was just like, no, that didn't happen, I feel like that speaks for itself. Now, the DSDFs watching this are most likely thinking, but every melee player I go against has no issue with getting close to me, so they're all overpowered. And honestly, that just sounds like a skill issue. I don't even really know what to say to that. But don't worry! As somebody who likes to partake in the melee-only playstyle, I'll teach you some pretty good counters to melee-only players, so you can never use any of them and still complain on the internet about them. Seriously, this is literally the most important part of countering melee-only playstyles. The fact that they are limited in range without their throwing knives means that all you have to do is shoot them from far away and don't miss your shots. As the funny blue-haired Fortnite man said,
"Hit your shots, kid. It's quite simple. Do you want to get good? Yes, then I want to get good, then hit your shots, kid. Last time I checked, oh yeah, you didn't hit your shots. Have fun in the lobby."
Literally the best and most effective way to counter them. Shotguns have enough range where melee players can rarely get close enough, and it also means that you don't have to aim as good as you would with other weapons. Snipers are the best of both worlds. You can keep your distance while also building them so you can counter melee players if they get just a little too close. Unless they're using the soul render, riot shields beat melee players senseless, since unless they have very good movement, they can't knife you before you can hit them twice. If you see this person run around the corner and you decide to chase after them, it is nowhere near their fault if you fall for the bait. If you see a melee person run around the corner, stop and go a different direction. Because of the limited range a melee player has, you should try to do everything you can to widen the gap between you and them while still shooting at them. Obviously, if you use the tip before this, don't back up in a straight or predictable way, because then what the melee player is going to do is just throw a throwing knife at you. Honestly though, this same thing could just be said in general, but if you make it hard to predict where you're going to be at, it'll be harder for them to land a throwing knife. Dead silence is a perk in this game, so if you're an avid fan of Modern Warfare 2, where you didn't have to worry about somebody sneaking up behind you because you could just sound whore the whole time, you should change up how you play, or you're gonna get meleeed from behind or executed a lot. A melee player's biggest asset is speed, so if you can do anything to slow them down, stuns, tear gas, guardian, etc. Flashes are also pretty effective, as long as you're not fucking stupid and stand still in the exact same spot the melee player saw you in before going blind. Shock charges are also very useful, because they prevent melee players from swinging their weapons completely, as long as they're not using tac mask. And if all else fails, don't play the small maps playlist, and just avoid any other small maps. Anyways, thank you for watching this educational video, and I hope the DSDFs watching learned something from this. Hope is the key word of that statement. Now get out there, champ, and don't use a single tip that I've given in this video, and then continue to complain about how melee weapons are OP on Twitter or Reddit. And for everyone else, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see y'all in another one of these. If I make one. I'm not really sure if I'll make another. I might have to. But, you know.
Yeah. 24/7, 365, waited too long, now it's my shine. I'm stunning when I'm running in the limelight. You steady running your mouth, cause I rhyme tight. 24/7, 365, waited too long, now it's